Okay. Oh, wow. That's that is very loud. Well, that's whatever. Okay. Hey. Eh, eh. Okay. Better. Maybe. Hey. Anyway. Hi. Angle up a little bit. Okay. Sure. All right. Uh, Sean, librarian, writer, geek. Housekeeping. Librarian, writer, geek here. Twitch, YouTube, wherever. Uh, SC Tatson. That is my personal website. Where I post. Haven't posted anything in a while, but that will maybe hopefully be changing soon. I don't know. No, I irregularly post there. And this my Blue Sky handle also as Librarian Writer Geek. I I know there is a way to change this to this, but I'm not. I need to do it, and I haven't. I know there. Nah. I need to fiddle with it a bit. Anyway, so okay. Right. Okay. So I did not stream last week, and I have a good reason for that. So, last Thursday, which was Thanksgiving as I'm recording this, if you're watching this live, or if you care, anyway. Uh, Last Thursday, I did something and it tweaked my back a bit, and it was like, okay, so sitting down for an extended period of time may or may not be comfortable. And mostly I'm in a lot of pain. So, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit more so I'm not peaking quite so much. Okay. Um, and but it was mostly okay. Let's not do things that might make my back hurt more. I'm gonna continue to turn this down a little. Okay. So that's why I didn't stream last week. I have pretty much fully recovered, which is why I'm doing this now. Okay, other things. You may notice, yeah, I have the headphones on and I'm using that. I did get a couple, oh, sorry, giving personal stuff. I did get a comment on the last video about the sound quality, whatever. And again, like I I have my kind of really crap microphone. I have my webcam mic and I have Bluetooth headphone mics. And I think honestly the best one that makes sure I get heard is the Bluetooth headphone mic because it's right next to my face. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. I'm hoping to get a better microphone for Christmas, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. If I do that, maybe it'll work better. Maybe it'll be nicer and happier, and I can switch to using that instead. Who knows? Uh, Other comments on the previous video. This is from YouTube. I'm just going to make this clear. Okay, and I'm not going to go back and read it. I read it like once, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. But I'm just going to lay this out there. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is literally the VOD of me streaming. There is no script. I'm sorry, this is not, I did not script, there's no script. So I'm sorry if you're bothered by this is just me going through a thing and giving my thoughts and opinions. That there's no script. I'm sorry that this is not a nice, organized, neat review of stuff. That's not what I do. That's not how I work. I'm sorry. I don't I'm sure if I really if I wanted to do reviews, which I've done reviews sort of tabletop games. You can read them. They're here on my website. But I am not a video editing. I don't have video editing as a skill set, which I'm sure I could if I were so inclined. I would certainly look into learning how to edit video. Oh, it's not something, but it's not something I'm interested in mess playing around with. So, I'm not going to mess with, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this because I think, hey, this is something interesting to do. And it's very off the cuff. It's very like it's very obvious. And as far as organized goes, like I'm literally going through the book page by through the PDF of this thing in order. That's how I do these. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that bothers you that I don't have it neatly arranged, whatever. But and hey, no one's forcing you to watch these videos. If it bothers you that much, just go away. It's fine. Whatever. No, I'm not. And that's the last I'm going to be saying about this particular comment because whatever. Anyway, on to briefly discussing current events before posting the notice about stuff. Okay, actually, two current events I want to bring up and share and just kind of put my thoughts out on. First, this is maybe probably I feel like this might not have gotten as much news as other things, but it's looking like um, the current civil war in Syria. All right, all right. Uh, the conflict in Syria that has been going on for apparently somewhere since like 2010, maybe. I don't know. Been going on for a while. It's looking like the that might be coming to an end soon. Apparently, like Iran, who has been a major backer of the current regime in Syria, the Assad regime, is pulling out people and resources and stuff from one particular city or whatever. And I don't know. There seem to be some indications that the Assad government, whatever you want to call it, regime, whatever you want to call it, is might be on the be collapsing, which is a sign of something. It's it. Apparently, the rebel coalition is maybe not as united. That they are united in their struggle against the Assad and his government, and that's about it. So, this might lead to, okay, cool. Well, now we have another law. Now we just continue to have fighting, but now instead of this group of people on one side and government on the other, it's everybody's going at each other. It's who knows, but that's something. Um, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna try and turn this down again because I feel like, yeah, okay, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, I don't want to be peaking quite so much. Don't want to be getting the input to be getting into the red so much. Anyway, um, right, but the other recent event, actually, this is like 2 days ago now. Um, So I think the CEO of was it United Healthcare, the health insurance division of United Health, I believe. Yeah, he was apparently yeah, he was shot in York on his way to a investor meeting or whatever. And the response to this has perhaps been not what some people might expect. Now, and personally, I this is one of those situations. Like this is certainly not one of those. Um, this is not quite when Henry Kissinger died, where it's like, okay, oh, cool, finally that asshole's dead. But it is, I am kind of, there's a divide in my mind. I am of two minds on this. On the one hand, on like the purely human level, yes, this is horrible. Yes, this is, oh my God, this just goes all the way up to the thing. Okay, on the one hand, yes, this is on a purely human level, this is sad and terror and a tragedy. A man is dead. This guy who was father, husband, whatever, he like okay, like he was a person, and that in and of itself is unfortunate. But on the other hand, he also there's just a whole he was the CEO of a health insurance company, which means like he was like actively responsible for causing a certain amount of pain and suffering in this country, in the world. He is, and like he may have also been doing some illegal stuff. He was apparently under investigation for, or one of several people apparently being investigated for some kind of crimes. Uh, Additionally, I think he may have apparently something he did was introduce using an AI to handle certain claims, and it's like, oh, okay, so you've automated the denial process. Okay, cool, great. Just so like on that level, it's like, maybe I don't feel so bad about you being dead. So, you know, and again, I'm not, it's one of those, I'm not gonna, I wouldn't exactly encourage this kind of thing. Like I would not encourage people to go out and harm, use violence. I would not in this, go out and harm, I would not encourage violence against people, even CEOs and whatnot, as scummy as they might be. But like at the same time, feeling, I'm not feeling overly bad about this exactly. So, you know, anyway, that's all I really want to say about that. Guy's dead, and that's not a terrible thing. Let's just go with that. All right, I'm gonna post the thing now. Okay. All right. So, no, hold on. Da, yeah, posting that. Okay, gonna pin that. Okay, you know, hey, wow, we're gonna, yeah. So somebody comes in here posting crap. Yeah, you have been warned. Not that people come in and post comments. Anyway, all right, let's move on. Get to the thing. Okay, let's see where. Uh, okay. All right. So we're gonna. Oh, maybe not. Uh, okay. Hold on. I'm gonna go back here. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, getting back to this. Ahem. Ahem. Okay. All right. So first off, something I want to bring up before getting back into the next stuff. So one of the complaints I did mention, and I'm going to own this now. Okay. One of the complaints I mentioned was with the PDF that I was looking at the time was that the table of contents was not linked and there were no bookmarks. Well, it turns out that apparently is only a problem with the HD copy of the PDF. I don't know why, but apparently if you get like the non-HD version, yes, there is the table of contents is linked, and there is in fact a set of bookmarks. I will own that. I will fully own that criticism was not entirely justified. So that's on me. That's on me. In my defense, how the heck was I supposed to know that? I thought I got the one version. Anyway, all right. I believe we got through all of book one. I don't know how far we're gonna get. Honestly, I think by the time I don't probably not gonna get into books 4 or 5 and the rest of it. So probably only gonna get to like maybe through book three. All right. So because let's see, last time, yeah, we got through character creation and we end with yeah, here's that. Right. Anyway, book two. So here's where I believe we get into some of the mechanics. Yes? Wow. Yep. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I think yeah. This stuff is just going to be all about the mechanics of this game. Oh boy. All right. So first off, yeah. So last time I mentioned that this is a skill-based game and it uses percentile dice. And I also mentioned that it does not use them in the way you might expect. Or I don't maybe I didn't mention that specifically, but it does not work in the way you expect. So just look at this table, look at these results. Okay, look at those results. Yeah, and you'll start to see what I'm getting at. Okay, so to put this simply, against the Darkmaster is not a percentile system. You roll a percentile die, but instead of any percentile system, like you would expect, okay, I need to roll under whatever my skill is. That makes sense, right? Like, okay, I think like Call of Cthulhu, all the Chaosium, maybe not all the Chaosium stuff, but the Chaosium stuff that's based on like Call of Cthulhu and their generic whatever role-playing system stuff, that all uses, that kind of a system. Okay, you have a value, you need to roll under the value to succeed. And the derivatives thereof also use that stuff like delta green and whatnot. This game, in this game, you roll the dice and then you add your skill to it. And then you take the result you got and go to a table, like this table right here, and find the result, and that will tell you how you did. Yeah, just take a moment to understand, to digest that. Just like I I don't know where this comes from. I don't know if this is something they came up with. I don't know if this is something that originated in a different system. I don't know. It's crazy, but it's like, what is this? What even is this? Okay. Yes, obviously there's other things. Yes, there's difficulties. That's going to modify the rolls. That's going to change what counts as different levels of success. Success, taking time gives you bonus. Obviously, it gives you a bonus. This to succeed in getting help will presumably also tweak some things, etc., etc. That was the okay. Using certain tools. Okay, using it with doing it without tools. Okay, all right. And conflicting different actions. Da, da, da. Okay, save roles. Right, this was a thing on this in character creation. Right, you got two. There's two types of saves: toughness, and willpower. Let's see, toughness, physical stuff. Again, resists fatigue, poison, disease, etc. Willpower, mind, like fear, illusions, or mind control spells. So that's eh. And there's different levels and what and such, and difficulties, and so on. Ah, did I? Okay. And of course, other roles have their own chapter. So moving on. Eh, nice, another nice bit of art. This is the example character that was put together. I kind of like her. That's sorry, we're gonna flip back. I know someone's gonna hate it. Whatever. But yeah, so this was the character that had been created as they went along. A I think it's a dusk elf wizard. I don't remember if they named them Sindel. Okay. Yeah. I like her. She's got a kind of punk rock look, punk rock wizardy type thing. It's a nice demonstration of like what this game is and how it works and what you should melding of elements. Anyway, magic. Okay. So as we mentioned, there's like a bunch of spell casting in classes. People can learn there's a bunch of ways to learn how to cast different spells. So, and spells are organized into different lores. Apparently, here's a list of common spell lores. So apparently, these are the ones that, like, I think, yeah, common spell lores are basically, I believe that's probably what stuff anyone can access. Let's see. In order to cast each rank developed by a character and spell grants them knowledge of a spell from new weave. Starting from first up to 10th, the character with three ranks in a spell lore will know the first three weaves of that spell lore. And weaves is their fancy way of basically saying a spell. I guess it's important to know that to potentially distinguish. So, right, okay. Yeah. Example, got person has five ranks in the Earth Mold spell lore skill, whatever. So they knows so they know five spells, the Earth Mold spell lore, which are Weaken, Harrow, Power Crystal, Earth Wall, and Rock Shards. And I have, I admit, I have some mixed feelings about the way spells are organized. Not these organizing them into lores, but organizing them where it's like, okay, each level means you get the next spell up. Like each, I don't know if they have example. Well, so let me, actually, now that I can do this, let me see. Yeah, okay. So, what would I do? Okay, Earth Mold. Sure, here, boom. Okay, so yeah, yep, the weave, that's like how many levels, ranks, skill ranks you need to have in order to cast the spell. So, in order to cast like any, so yeah, it's basically right. You have to learn this spell, and then you have to learn the next spell, and then the next until you finally get to until whatever. And I don't know how to feel about that because I kind of prefer more free form type. Like I appreciate organizing them into spells into different categories and such, but I don't know. It seems I don't know. It's kind of annoying that like right, you have to have six ranks in the fire magic before you get an actual explicit attack spell. So I don't know. I did not realize that ignite was only had a touch range. Geez, that's scary. I don't know. Anyway, but that's how they decided to do it, so that's just how it is, I guess. Let's see. Have to follow certain restrictions when developing spell lores and new spells. Well, magic. Uh, oh, hello. Okay. Hello, Shadowed Mage. Welcome in. We're still early. Yeah, we've been going for like 30 minutes. Been going for how long? Oh yeah, we've been going for like half an hour, but hey. Yeah, so I don't know if you're I don't know, let's take a minute. I don't know what brings you here. Here, did you just randomly stumble onto this or did you spot one of the things where I posted about this? Hmm. Well. Oh, wait a minute. But okay, continuing on with magic and spell lores. So this game divides it into again further divisions and organizations of all this stuff. Oh, and my follow list. I can see what's going on. Oh, okay, cool. Well, right now I'm taking this is my second part of looking at the tabletop game, the rule book rather, for the tabletop game, against the Darkmaster, which came out a couple years ago, and I was I'm having a break between streaming video games, so I figured, and my stuff looking at tabletop games always tend to do better than my video game streams, so I figured, what the heck, let's take a look at this. And last time, which was 2 weeks ago, I took last week off. We went through all or at least most of book one, which basically is here's how you create a character. And it was quite a lot. And now we're getting into book two. I think that's probably all we're going to be able to cover tonight. Uh, might don't know if we're going to do book three or not, but I definitely am going to want to. I usually want to wrap up these kinds of things with a okay, let's see this stuff in action. So that's something to look forward to in like a week or two. Sure. Yeah, like 2 weeks, that'll be like before Christmas. Sure. You know, in the midst of everything else happening that week, happening and having to be done. Anyway, all right. So we're now delving into how magic works in this game. There are common spell lores, vocational spell lores, and kin spell lores. Makes sense. Common spell lores, yeah, okay. Common spell is basically anybody can learn these spells. So anybody can learn anybody, even the folks who don't technically who have to work extra hard to learn magic can learn the spells from these type from these can learn these types of spells. Blah. Characters may put as many ranks they want in common spell lore, but cannot cast spell over fifth weave unless their vocations. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Vocational spell lores, yeah, that's basically class stuff. You have to be a particular class to learn these things. Like, art, I hate to jump around like this, blah. So, but like, yeah, okay. Wizard has all of these vocational lores because, well, they're a wizard. They should know they should be able to learn all these things. And the animist knows these ones, or is good at learning those ones. So, yeah. Whereas the champion, our fighter wizard, whatever you want to think, however you want to think of it, paladin type thing, yeah, it's a little more restricted. It's a lot more focused on, you know, presumably buffing and those sorts of spells. And Dabbler is, yeah, more the sneaky distraction type stuff. Bard, however you want to think of it, type of things. And yeah, again, as was go saying last time, right, there are also kin spell lores. This is oh, hello. Looking this up, and it looks like system for related to older Middle Earth roleplays. I believe it is. I wouldn't know. I have not played MERP. Actually, I literally just went over this. And yeah, resolving things like, okay, so you're rolling a percentile die, but instead of comparing it to whatever your skill value is, whatever your value is in a specific skill and trying to roll under that, you are instead adding your skill bonus to the roll and then comparing the results to a chart. And I see that and it makes my brain hurt a little bit because it's like, okay, okay, that seems kind of yeah, yeah, it's kind of weird and I'll I'll say this, I'm very happy that I have this that I can play this on a VTT because I don't know if I'd want to try doing this live. I don't know if I'd want to try doing this with physical stuff because I would need to actually print off the different charts and be able to flip through them quickly. It's and I might honestly, if I were running this in person, I'd probably actually print off like two or th several copies of the charts just to go like, okay, so that I can pass them out to people and go, okay, what does the result? What is your result? Okay. I again, mm, I'm iffy about that stuff, but yeah. BTT has actual support for this. Is it all just ability to have all those charts handy? I know Foundry and I believe Roll20 have support for this. They have systems in place and co actual content. Um, but yeah, mostly it's just like I know with Foundry, which is my preferred VTT, it's like okay, can roll the thing and it'll go, okay, here is the results, and can pull up the table and spit out the results, and I don't have to cross-reference things, and it's just so much easier because, like, whoa, like, actually, let me, uh, here, let's, sorry, gonna do this. Okay, actually, we need to go back even before all this stuff. Okay, from page 500 to page 512 at least. No. Hmm. That's weird. It keeps spitting me back there. All right. Okay. So here are the tables. Okay. Starting on page, okay, 498 of the PDF. Okay. That's cool. How much Gentlemen outside 5E played 1 or 2, 2 and 3, 5, like 20, 30 years. Jeez, the game's like plays the dark, so 1 page. My main experience 5E. Have not, yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I've, yeah, but yeah, you're getting, okay, so there's like again, there's 12 pages of charts, and what, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4 pages of here's the results of whatever thing for various attacks. Okay, here are the critical tables. Here are how you interpret that result. If it says anything about getting a critical hit. And yeah. Yeah, I've seen I've seen some OSR stuff and it's like and older stuff and it's like why would you do this? Why did you people put up with this nonsense? You know? But yeah, it's a lot of tables. Makes me nuts. Anyway, but yeah, I'm kind of a perma DM and have been for many, many years now. So, and my group luckily is pretty chill about playing stuff, so I t sort of have the ability to branch out and say, "Hey, let's try playing this for a while," and either I get bored or my players get bored or something. Anyway, I should be continuing on with this stuff because okay. All right. Kin spell lores, those are okay. Trying to remember how I found you. I don't I honestly don't know. I don't know how you might have found me. There's any number of ways. Anywho, kin spell lores, yeah, this is that stuff that like elves have access to. Anyway, all right, and yeah, obviously to cast spells. Hey, wow, we have magic points or MP. Okay, it's magic points. All right, sure. And obviously there's different ways to gain them. You get certain things from stats and vocation, and depending on your kin, you might, like if you're an elf or something, presumably, you might get a bonus from that. And I kind of I appreciate that bearing seems to be the vocation MP um, is what they use for basically everything other than animist and wizards. I don't know. For some that see, I don't know. I appreciate that. That this is not some. It's you're not doing magic by being smart or wise. You're doing it by force of will. Okay, casting spell. Okay, so oh boy, casting spells and stuff. Okay, so yeah, casting spells is like any other skill check. You roll the dice and add your stuff to it to and compare to the results, compared to table. This is kind of where other kludgy stuff comes in. Because, okay, yeah, concentration. Okay. A character may concentrate on his spell to enhance his spell. Okay, so success. To concentrate, you must spend a full action focusing on the spell preparing, chanting, preparing every round spent doing that gives you a plus 10. Oh, okay. Yeah, I am friends with Valerie. We're sort of, it's one of the, you're right. I know Valerie through online stuff, and I have not been hanging out on her streams as much as I used to. I really should, but thanks. But yeah, Valerie, she's good people. Buy her books. But buy her books if you haven't. They're entertaining. All right. Let's see. So okay, not do that for max of plus 40, but that means you're spending a round or more just kind of standing there chanting and doing whatever. Or you can not do that and just sit and just try and pop it off, but that gives you a penalty to the roll. Some spells don't require spells marked instantaneous gain no benefit from concentration, which is good, but only require half action to be cast and can be improvised without incurring normal minus 10 penalty. That's kind of nice. Oof. Is uh, armor move right? Wearing armor also hurts your casting, etc. Okay, this is maybe not, but okay. All right, okay. Different types of spells, etc., etc. Concentrating on a spell. Okay, I see. I think there was supposed to be, or is that later? Hmm. Ah, magic resonance. Oh, here's a fun thing because this is a game that's vaguely, again, Middle Earthy, but also so yeah, or just in general. Hey, yeah, magic is not a safe thing to be using. Using magic is inherently dangerous. Not quite as dangerous as in, say, Warhammer, either fantasy or 40K, where you might accidentally do something incredibly horrible by sheer chance. But you know, hey, if you roll double on a spellcasting roll, the GM has to make a magic resonance roll, and that gets modified by some other stuff, and things might happen. Like, hey, wow, the Darkmaster, our Sauron stand-in, might do something. Luckily, that only happens if you roll doubles, right? Of course, there's spell failures that might reduce have different effects. Yeah, I'm not going to get into some of this stuff, but yeah, okay. Here's a handy table to explain how that works. Okay, so you pick the spell. Oh, do you have the ranks in the appropriate spell or equal to the spell's weave or higher? If not, you cannot cast the spell. If so, is your level equal to the spell's weave or higher? If not, you cannot cast the spell. But if so, do you have enough MP to cast it? If not, obviously you can't. If you can, are you able to speak? And then there's the question about warping the spell and yeah, to tweak ways to tweak the spell. Add weave to the chosen warping options. The weave of the spell the new weave total is the new weave of the spell, which then right. So warping it effectively makes it more complicated, adds makes the weave higher and such. Okay, right. Okay, and all right. Another little criticism. I'm gonna say, yeah. Why are we having movement and traveling stuff? I feel like we put combat in chapter 15. I really feel like combat should have been chapter 12, and then we could have because like so much stuff revolves around how combat works and the combat sequence. Anyway, yeah, okay, encumbrance levels. Obviously, yes, there's encumbrance, there's traveling, because yeah, this is the kind of game where you're presumably expected to travel across huge amounts of territory on your epic journey to defeat the forces of darkness and such. Basically, definitely encourages you to have a map, presumably have a map so you can figure out these things, and then what kind of random hazards and stuff. This not everyone is friendly. Yeah, okay. Random hazard table. Nice. Cases, other perils, etc., etc. Boarding. Ah, that's an again. I really do appreciate the art in this book. It's very nice. Here's some tables of stuff because what else? Because that's what this game likes. Here are tables of things. Insights and safe haven. And so, oof. Okay, I want to mention something about this art because I was looking at the this game's and page on drive through RPG. Apparently, this art is very similar. It's clearly an homage to something that I think is to some. I want to say it's some D&D module, really classic D&D module. I don't know what, but some guy was in the comments. So like, oh my God, you guys plagiarized this art. Ha, got you. And it's like they're going like, the publisher or whoever's going like, no, that that's not plagiarism. We didn't just lift the art straight from that. We it's an homage, which is what we've done with a lot of this. This whole game is kind of an homage to a bunch of older games that we really liked. Weirdo. Why are you being weird? Anyway, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, generating safe havens, all this stuff. That's very neat. And again, I don't know anything about this stuff. Huh. Okay, this is cool. Cool. Bit of little advice on, hey, wow, if you want to Some people want to do some stuff, or somebody missed a session, and maybe you run a private gate with them. That's neat. That's nice. Okay. And this is something I mentioned again, I mentioned back in the character creation stuff. Okay. So equipment and wealth. This is something I'm a little more familiar with and a little more interested in. Okay. So yeah, they kind of so instead of having you like track money, instead of tracking like actual money and doing math and all that, they abstract this stuff out as just a wealth level. Your character has a wealth level based hmm, partly on their kin and partly on their what's the word? Culture. Yeah. So some kins tend to come from wealthier I feel for you know, and obviously higher means you can afford more stuff because right, here's how we abstract it out. It's like, okay, whatever you're trying to buy has a certain value. They call it, they refer to it as a fare, whatever. If your wealth level is greater than that, you can buy it. No problem. Who cares? If it is equal to it, then you can buy it, but your wealth level is reduced by one. And if your wealth level is less than whatever the fare is, you can't buy it. Easy enough. And it go and yeah, I feel like there's a lot of ways you can. Don't. I feel like the highest wealth level you can actually start with is a three, and that's pretty extensive. Like I don't. Hmm, yeah, folks are probably going to be like starting characters are probably going to be zero, one, maybe two, if you're lucky. But yeah, I don't know how it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, there we go. High man, noble, starting wealth level. Let's see. No character can start the game with wealth level higher than four or less than zero. I don't even know how you can get to a four. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's a background thing. I don't know. Anyway, and yeah, there's ways to tweak stuff. I guess if you really want to be not, if you're a kind GM, you want to just say, sure, fine, I'll let you buy this stuff, but it's going to be lower quality. Or hey, wow, sure, you can buy a better weapon or piece of equipment. Sure, it'll cost more, but you can totally do that. And yeah, okay. Same with, and unsurprisingly, yeah, they've abstracted out how treasure works. Because again, this is not a game. This is not like D&D where your goal is to accumulate treasure. This is drawing on the a different um, genre. This is drawing more on high fantasy genre, Tolkien, Lloyd, Alexander Lloyd, I think, Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Prydain. You know, these books were right. the heroes go on the adventure and do the things because they're heroes. They're just good people saving the day. They're not. It's not about getting treasure and whatnot. But occasionally you might find some treasure. So yeah, and that's okay. Whatever the treasure value is, and the treasure value starts at one, which is good. No, there's no treasure value of zero. Oh, unless you're like splitting it up between a lot of people, but like I mean, up to six is pretty nice. And that's, hey, well, if your character's wealth level is less than the treasure value, hey, congratulations, your wealth level is now whatever the treasure value is. If they're equal, your wealth level goes up by one, which is nice. And if your wealth level is greater than the treasure value, then nothing happens. And that's fair. And right, okay, equipment, various services, nice. Yeah, you can see like, right, an armed escort, or that's gonna cost you quite a bit, whereas, and getting a healer, actual like magical healer, service of a magical healer, that's gonna be again kind of expensive. Uh, rent, because of course they include rent. Uh, yeah, wizard for hire, good grief. Let's see. Yeah, buying mounts. That's yeah, fair. Okay. Huh. Oof. Buying vehicles. Okay. And then yeah, ammunition costs nothing. That's nice. Okay. Blah 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 blah. More gear. Okay. Yeah. And yeah, kind of abstracting the price of different weapons into okay, what kind of a weapon is it? Okay, cool. We're not gonna. We don't need to figure out how much stuff costs. Like, okay, sure, we need to know armor, and of course, armor comes in different. Sometimes, sometimes it comes in bits and pieces and covers different parts of the body because that's just the kind of game this is. But yeah, when it comes to weapons, like no, we're not going to include that on the chart because we really, really, really don't need more information. There's so many weapons. We don't need to figure out a price for each of these things. We're going to simplify that. But yeah, okay. And you notice this thing about length that comes into play in the combat chapter, which hopefully we'll be getting to soon. Is that next? Please be next. Okay. That's. Okay, combats. All right, here is where things get really, really kludgy and really, really crunchy. Because other games, depending on how complex they are, they might do simple player-facing stuff where the players make all the rolls. That's like, your Powered by the Apocalypse stuff. That's, Monster of the week or whatever. You got Forge in the Dark stuff like Blades in the Dark and all that, where that combat is all player facing. It's like, okay, no, you do all that stuff. Then you got your D&D stuff where it's like, okay, right, okay, everybody rolls initiative, we get a specific order, boom, and you know, depending on things like, okay, is it, team initiative or not, whatever. The folks at Open-Ended Games, possibly inspired by Middle Earth roleplay, I don't know, went, no, 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 we're gonna go even more complicated. And I've seen like this might be from like a really early. I'm pretty. This is probably from an earlier edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I'm pretty sure this might be like an alternate initiative system from like first edition. I don't know. I know I've seen it in some like retro clone, in at least one retro clone. But yeah, there is a tactical sequence. Okay, there's phases to the round, and it is not what you do is not set. Where you when you go is not necessarily set. So yeah, it assessment phase, whatever, handle any ongoing stuff, make certain rolls, etc., etc. Okay. Then everybody goes around and says, "Okay, here's what I'm gonna do." That declaration phase. Everybody says, "Here's what I'm gonna do," and that determines when you're gonna act. And I believe you get, we'll get to it when we get to it. Okay. Everybody decides when they go. I believe the enemies go first, so the players always have a slight advantage of going, okay, well that guy, this person's going to do this, so I'm going to do that. So they presumably expect a little bit of metagaming. First thing that happens is that anybody who says they're going to move moves. Then we get spell phase A. Okay, certain instant spells and or spells that we started casting in the previous round can potentially go off. Then we get ranged phase A, which is okay, anybody who has loaded a missile weapon or readied a thrown weapon. And then we have the melee phase, and that goes by who has the longest reach with the weapon in descending order. So it starts with the spears and the pole arms and ends with, you know, daggers and fists. And that is a spelling mistake that slipped past them. Okay. Okay, then we get ranged phase B, which is okay, anybody who was not all missile and thrown weapons that had not already been fired during ranged phase A or ranged weapons reloaded in the current round. Yes, there are some weapons that need to be reloaded. All the ranged weapons need to be reloaded. Some of them can be reloaded faster than others. And then finally, you have spell phase B, which is, all the stuff that wasn't ready to go off sooner. So that's combat. But now we have, okay, what can you do on your round? Okay, so we have full action, half action, and free actions. Full actions would be, making an attack, casting a non-instant spell, or moving at your full move rate. So, like, I think base move rate for everybody is like 15 meters, which comes out to like, was it 15? I don't know. It feels like a lot, at least coming from someone who's more familiar with games like D5E, where it's like, okay, base movement speed for everybody is like 30 feet or whatever. Anyway, full action take appropriate place the appropriate phase, etc., etc. Half actions. These are things that, yeah. Half actions, things like readying an item, drawing a weapon, casting an instant spell, making moving half, taking half movement to get half movement, which is, more like moving about 30 feet or so, whatever. But of course, because we have different actions, like, okay, you can take a full action and a half action, but you take a penalty to any rolls that ha minus 20 penalty to any rolls involved. So, it's sure you can potentially say, yeah, sure, you can draw your weapon and make an attack, but you're going to be at a slight penalty, you're going to be at a penalty for making an attack with your sword or whatever, because you basically just had to fumble it out of your belts. And free actions, whatever, doesn't anything that basically doesn't actually do anything. And you can take two half actions with no penalty. So, you can move 30 feet and draw your weapon, whatever. So yeah, here's a quick summary. Two half actions at no penalty. See, free action, whatever. Readied actions, multi-round actions, because of course there's those as well. Uh, this is I this is definitely I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this definitely is one of those games where having a map is probably a good thing because I can't imagine trying to do this to abstract this out and do theater of the mind stuff. That seems like ugh. Ugh. Okay. So yeah, combat again, it works like a skill roll. Roll, you make an attack. Okay, you have your combat bonus from your different skills. You can potentially your different skills modified by certain things like equipments and whatnot. Um, uh, sort different pieces of equipment actually have a different maximum result. So let's actually pop back real quick. So yeah, there's a result. Yeah, see, there's a max result here. So like, yeah, the maximum you can roll with an arming sword is a 140, regardless of what you actually roll, regardless of what you roll or any bonuses you have to using swords. The highest result you can get on the table is 140. Whereas, some of these other ones you got the Great Axe has a max result of 175. Uh, some of these punching, kicking, whatever is, and we'll see. Do they have a two-handed sword? I thought they did. They do have a two-handed sword. Okay, 175 seems to be like the max they really want to go with on anything. So, anywho, ugh. Oh dear. Okay, max result different. Damage type determines what table you're looking at, especially when it comes to crits. Critical strikes, right? Depends on, hey, if you roll high enough, if you can inflict other things on your opponent as well. Certain things Spells abilities may reduce severity of suffered critical rolls by 1 or more degrees. Yeah, okay. Uh, okay. Parrying. Very important thing in this because, yeah, the numbers can get very, very high, and armor, believe armor reduces your chance of getting hit. It does not necessarily drop it down, but it is still there, I believe. I don't know. Armor does. Let me see. What was it? Okay. Overall effect on this character's attack, the given weapon, spell, or ability. CMB number add to the dice roll. Current bonus and the skill used to attack. Attacks to be ineffective, characters must have at least a +0 or higher CMB rating. Factor modifier. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I think armor it is a armor imposes a penalty to your attack roll. Anyway, basically pairing is another way is a way to basically, you know, try impose a penalty on on someone's attack against you. The downside of this is you are splitting your combat bonus to add to your defense for that round. So, eh, uh, range attacks. I don't think. Yeah, you can't parry range attacks. I believe. Blah blah blah. Reloading missile weapon must be loaded. Thrown weapons ready. Reloading missile weapon is a full action or multi-round action. There are obviously some things that can tweak that. Some have the quick load property and can be reloaded as a half action, preventing wielder to attack in range phase B of the same round. Ready thrown weapon is always a half action. Da da da. Fumbles, etc., etc. Various conditions. Oh boy, fun times. Oh boy, facing. Yikes. Oh, these following rules is entirely optional. Okay, okay. This I did not know because I did find a video of somebody doing a lot of, here's showing off this system in Foundry, but also using Foundry to show this off. And he included aiming as a thing, which is fine, but okay, aiming is actually okay, so aiming is an optional rule. This weapon lose all aiming bonuses. Okay, for each consecutive round spent aiming, characters get a special +10 bonus to the next attack roll. Okay, so aiming technically is not a thing, is an optional rule. Okay, that's important to know. That's good to know because, like, yeah, it would really suck if you have to spend like a whole action or whatever to aim first and then attack. Matter of fact, I just okay. Oh, geez. Well, I appreciate them putting the thought into this, even if I'm not going to use it. Jesus. Da, 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 da. Points bleeding. That's something I would need to keep an eye on. on because that can happen. Treating bleeding wounds, da 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 da. Injuries, poison disease. Oh, yikes. Soul damage. Okay, fun, cool. Because sure, why not? Using different herbs, etc., etc. Okay. All right, and that actually brings us to the end of book two. Aye. Ah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna close that down. Okay. Well, I hope, uh, Shadow Mage, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Other people, anybody watching this later on, I hope you got something out of it. If not, why did you watch part two of this? And again, I have no intention of changing how I do this. Anyway, but that's going to be it for me this week. Next week we'll probably maybe look at book three. I don't know. I'll think about what I want to do next week with this because I don't know because I do I don't know. I'll have to think about this. Because I don't know. This schedule's going to be weird and interesting. All right, we'll see. See what I feel like doing when I feel like doing it. It'll be a surprise, I guess. Yes. Anyway, I hope a pleasant evening time was had. It's so on. Reminder: I'm Librarian Writer Geek, both on Twitch and on YouTube. If you have to watch this stuff anywhere, please watch it on YouTube because there the views actually count, whether or not as opposed to on Twitch where it only counts if you do it live. Uh, Here is my SC Teton. That is my personal website blog. I've actually got a bunch of game review, tabletop game reviews from a couple of years ago. I wrote up a bunch of stuff. I should probably honestly try doing that more. That's part of why I actually started doing this. And finally, this is my Blue Sky account thing. I'm also Librarian Writer Geek over there. It's the same thing. Anyway, but that's going to be it from me for tonight. And, I guess, hey, bringing back the thing from given, you know, you gotta bring this back, hey, uh, please try to live your life in such a way that if you should die very suddenly, people will be sad instead of laughing. Anyway, regardless, have a good one. Bye.